Welcome to the Vermont Dog Trainer Show, your common sense, down-to-earth advisor on all things dog training. Here's your host, Ian Grant.
Christy, go ahead.
Just again, dinner time, so I might put myself
For
off
sure.
camera. There's a couple things. One is I've been doing the following through.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's helped, like me getting in between whatever it is, and it's helped like a lot. So it's, yeah.
Good.
He's slowly learning. And like last night, we were on the couch and there was dogs, there was a horse, and he just like sat on the couch, which is
Like watching, you mean watching TV? There was that stuff on TV? Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
There was a horse going through our house. And
I was going to say there's a horse on your couch. You got a lot of other stuff going on too.
No. And yeah, we were watching TV and he just stayed on the couch and he just did his little boofs, which like,
okay,
that's crazy because usually he'll go crazy and run to the TV and just
nice.
Yeah. So awesome. That's good. Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that he hasn't been feeling well, but I'm going to give it to him that he's been listening.
What's the not feeling well part?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I know you're not a vet, but you've seen a lot of dogs. No. And like for the last like 5 days, he's been sneezing a lot and he's had like kind of a runny nose. Now here, the pollen isn't, it's probably not great, but it's not horrible. It's not bad. It's getting cold and everything. So and his allergies, he has different symptoms. So I really don't think it's an allergy.
Okay.
He's eating fine and, but he's a little bit more, how do you say, not as active?
Logie?
Yeah. And then the big thing, he's also having reverse sneezes, which, he hardly ever has. But today he's been reverse sneezing a lot.
So he's got something going on in there.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm hoping to go to the vet tomorrow. It's so hard here to get to see anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do dogs get colds? Because I've seen such mixed reviews, like they do or they don't.
Yeah, they can. I mean, so has he been around other dogs?
Yeah. It was like, that's what happened this past Tuesday. He went to his little daycare thing. He only goes once a week and he came home, he was sneezing a lot. And I was like,
there you go. Yeah.
Right. Like immediately. Because like before that he was fine.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Like there's Bordetella, which is the kennel cough, which it doesn't sound like it's that, but the pain in the ass about that is it usually takes like 10 days to 2 weeks to show signs. They carry it around with him for a while. The fact that he came home right with it sounds like there was something, it's just like kids in daycare. It's like a petri dish sometimes,
Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds like he's got something, but it doesn't sound serious. It just sounds like a little bit of a cold and he's just run down. That's all. So yeah,
that's what I think.
I just try to get him into the vet.
Yeah, because he's not coughing at all, but
Perfect.
It's just reverse sneezing and sneezing a lot. So
yeah, I just wouldn't send him to daycare this week.
No, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
No, I won't. So we'll see.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll keep coming back around for you. All right, Tally, go ahead.
Hi. Okay, so I didn't send you a video because I've been trying. So here's what's been happening. The same kind of thing. Sometimes I get that leash out, the slip leash, and I try to put it on. I've tried all different ways to put it on, and sometimes she just runs away and goes under the bed. Other times she just sits there and lets me put it on. And so then but then she just sits next to me or stands. She stands next to me and she won't move and she just looks at me.
Okay.
And then when I finally can't take it anymore, I figure she's had enough. I've had enough of just like standing there. I'll go to take it off and then she'll start moving sometimes. Like she'll take a few steps.
With you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But as soon as if I look at her, she'll stop.
Yeah.
And then she'll just stand there and look at me. And she's kind of like looking at me like a little bit side eye up.
Yeah.
But her tail is wagging the whole time. And her ears are perked
But
up.
what kind of wag though?
Like
is it kind of going slow, like a windshield wiper kind of back and forth?
No.
Is it
It's
like
it's not erratic. It seems like a happy wag, and her ears are in the normal position when she's doing it. Because that was the first thing I checked. Because I
Yeah.
was like, is she upset? And then I don't know. So I feel like I've been going in circles, like, because I didn't know, I didn't video it because we just kept standing there.
Yeah, that's
So I
fine.
didn't know if that made sense for
Yeah.
you to see her stand there with me or not.
Yeah.
But I'm determined to keep working on this with her.
So look, if you're getting into that mode where she can put the leash on, like if you
Hmm.
go over there and you put the leash on, she stays there. I would take it off. I would go get some treats and bring it back to her and hold the leash up like a big loop. I got to do this with like a charging cord,
Hmm.
right? So that she sticks her head through in order to eat the food on the other side. But you may have to put your hand through and give it to her a couple of times.
Okay.
But either way, we want to create a repetition of putting this leash on is actually a good thing.
I will say she allows me to put it on her more than previously. Like previously, she just
Beautiful.
ran away. So I guess
Perfect.
it's small progress, but it's still some progress. And then I notice like when we're outside on walks,
Yeah.
overall, she's better on the leash. She has a habit of like, she goes really fast and then she'll stop, but then sometimes she goes behind me like and then starts walking on the other side of me instead of just cutting
Okay.
across in front of me. She does it
Yeah.
behind me, and then I have to like put my arm around behind me to put the leash in the other hand.
And that's when you're hooked to the harness still?
Always. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if she's got enough room to switch around to the other side, that means you're giving her too much slack on the leash.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
think of it this way. We want the leash as short as possible and then a little bit of slack on it.
Okay.
Okay. So I say as short as possible while your arm is still in a relaxed position.
Right. Right.
We don't want to be, like up here and the leash is dead straight the whole way with
Right.
tension, but we also don't want to be up here with like a lot of slack on it either, because then they have room to kind of go wherever.
Okay.
Yeah. So if she's shucking and jiving around you, she's got way too much leash.
Okay. It's not always, it's just yeah. It just kills me because she goes, it's like she won't cross in front of me to go to the other side of me. She
Well,
always goes behind me to do it.
that's not a bad thing. I think she probably knows that it's not an easy walk to cut in front of somebody because your feet keep moving and you might have bumped her once or twice, and that was enough for her to go, "Oh, I don't walk there."
Yeah. And I
You
have been
know?
slowing down my walk, like, because you were saying, like, be
Yeah.
conscious of my steps. But
Yeah.
sometimes, like I said, she'll go so fast, like, I have to walk faster to keep up with her
Yeah.
with those
So
little legs. I don't
Yeah, so
know.
the other thing that you mentioned as soon as you started talking about this is this, you said sometimes she goes fast and then may slow down. Yeah, so remember there's two different states of mind while we're walking the dog. There's following and then there's exploring.
Right.
You're dealing a lot with exploring and you're not reaching following yet.
Yeah.
So following is going at your pace.
Yeah. We have not gotten there.
Yeah, turning where you turn, stopping when you stop, that kind of thing.
But once in a while, like I just will be like, we're going left here. Not that I thought she understood me, but she does every like if I tell her right or left,
Yeah.
I notice that sometimes she goes the correct way. And I just thought I'd say it just because. And so sometimes she does go correctly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm just gonna keep working on it.
But so to give you an idea, so Ethan, who used to work for me, he when I would do lessons, he had a small day training group, and so he'd take them all on a pack walk. And he comes from the sled dog world, and
Hmm.
so he uses a lot of the yees and haws, of like lefts and rights. So even as he's walking a pack of dogs, and if they're going to the right on the trail, he's going to say whatever word that was. After a few weeks or a month, he says the word, and then all the dogs just start turning. He doesn't do anything to their leashes. So
Right.
you're doing the same thing. You're just labeling your intention. So because you've been consistent with that, she knows what that intention is, and then
Yeah.
you're making progress there.
Yeah. And I guess too, like sometimes when she's walking really fast, like I'll tell her to slow down.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's like, I can't hear you at all. I'm in my own zone. But
Yeah.
sometimes she will slow down. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep at it. I can't, I'm just gonna keep, it's just gonna take a minute, I
Yeah.
guess.
We need to
I
get
feel like
that.
we're stuck in leash land.
Yeah. Well, we need to just keep doing the leash stuff. That's all.
Okay.
because you'll get there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, when you get that leash on, I would walk her, take her for a spin around the couch, and then go back. Don't worry about recording it.
Yeah, I'm trying, but then that's when she's been like just stopping and standing there and looking at
Okay.
me.
Okay.
So I thought like, what would Ian say? Like because I started to walk and she wasn't moving. So I
Yeah.
stopped and I took like 2 steps backwards
Uh-huh.
because I thought maybe that, and I said, come on, let's go together. But that didn't work. I
Yeah.
thought it might work, but
But
that
remember what we have to do with a leash? Do you remember what we talked about?
less slack.
No, we have to just gradually put enough pressure on
Oh, the
it.
pressure. Right.
Slow, slow, slow until one of her feet moves, and then we put slack in it immediately. And
Okay.
then we repeat that process again. Slow, 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 slow until her feet move and then relax the pressure. So
Okay.
we're creating a tunnel effect that says if you move in this direction, all the tension goes away. But she's the one that's creating the tension
Yes.
because she's not going anywhere. So she either doesn't understand it or she doesn't want to,
It's
or
probably number
both.
2.
Yeah.
It could be a
Or
little bit of number 1, but I've noticed like, now that we've been together for a while, her little personality, she's got a little bit of obstinance in her.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
So, and she's getting more comfortable and stuff too. But yeah, so that's the next thing. So
okay.
we need to create a flow with her. Like take a lap around the couch, sit down with her, give her a couple pets, stand up, take a lap around the couch. You know,
Hmm.
we gotta create some flow here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep working on it.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Janice.
Hi,
Hi. So welcome to the group.
thank you.
So what state are you in?
North Carolina.
Oh, nice. Nice. God, we're all over the place in here. It's great. I love it. All right. So just give me a little quick synopsis why you joined, and then we'll answer or I'll answer your first most important question.
I'm working with my 11-month-old puppy. She was a foster fail. We foster a lot. And I failed with her because I've wanted to do dog therapy work for a long time, and her
Mhm.
temperament was just clear from like a very young age. I thought she might be good for it.
Yeah.
And why I'm here is we've done puppy class, CGC class, and therapy class here in
Oh,
North
that's
Carolina,
right.
and we
Yep.
have run out of classes. So I've been
Yeah.
looking for other instructors. She can't test until she's a year, and she still has work to do. So
Okay.
I'm looking for more help on the stuff that she's struggling with.
Sure.
The biggest one is when she went into heat. Well, there's two.
Okay.
Jumping, her enthusiasm is beautiful and destructive now that she's 55 pounds. And
Okay.
jumping is the one that I just cannot get her to
Okay.
stop doing.
Okay. When is
Uh,
it happening the most?
Transitions, new environments. She'll settle. Once she's settled in an environment, she's totally fine. She'll listen to me. She'll sit. She'll wait. She'll go to her bed. When people arrive at the house, if I work really intensely with her, I can get her to stay on her bed and not do anything.
Yeah.
But if someone walks into a room and she's just excited to see them, she'll bring them a toy and then jump up on them. And
Okay.
I just can't control that. Like we had family here this weekend, and as much as I tried to
Yeah.
control when we got home, there are just moments where
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah.
And then once she went into heat, she's been great on leash. We've worked really hard on it. And then she went
Okay.
into heat. And the last month has been rough.
Yeah.
The last couple of days have been a lot better since I started playing with her this week. The last like 3 or 4 walks have been amazing and so different.
Yep.
But we see deer and squirrels all the time, and she just loses her shit.
Okay. And so what are you walking her with for tools, leash, and what?
So I've gone back and forth. I have a leash. It's a climbing rope leash, and I have 2 knots on it so I can get shorter. I can either let her go all the way, or I can pull it a
Yeah.
little bit shorter or pull her really short.
Okay.
And then I have a collar and then a harness that I clip on the front. I really want to train her on collar because that's what I want to use for therapy work, not the harness.
Yeah.
But recently, when she's clipped on the front, it gives me more control than the collar does. And so
Yeah.
I've gone back and forth depending.
Yeah. So jumping's your number one here?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. So jumping is a symptom of what, do you think?
I
What
mean,
does she
it
do?
seems like a symptom of just like her excitement.
Bingo. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you nailed it. So let's think about how to deal with excitement. Do you feel like putting her into a certain body position is going to fix her excitement?
No.
Okay. So that's why your obedience isn't working at that time,
Okay.
because her brain is up here.
Yes.
It's boiled over,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So have you put her on a leash before and
Yeah.
worked with her right then and there?
Yeah. I'll have
Okay.
my treats and the leash when people come over, and I'll try and like work on it there.
So what'd you say? What in your leash?
Treats,
Yeah, but what do treats represent?
a reward.
Yeah, but what kind of reward?
I'm not sure.
A calm reward or an exciting reward?
An exciting reward.
See, this is the thing about food, is that oftentimes, even if we start training in just typical obedience, traditional stuff, right? Sit down. Yes, good girl. What's going on with our voice and our energy? We're up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so when a dog shows an extensive level of excitement, we bring the food out to teach the dog to calm down, when in actuality, that food has represented excitement this whole time.
Okay.
Right. And then we're using the leash. And is the leash connected to her collar, or do you have it connected to the harness?
Collar. When we're doing this, it's collar.
Okay. And so is it just a traditional collar or like a martingale, or what do you have?
Just a traditional, just a traditional collar.
Clip collar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so the thing about excitement is, in order to slow the dog down, we have to limit the space that they can move in. So I mean, really, until we get into the leash handling. Once we get into the leash handling, you're going to be able to knock this jumping right out of the park. For right now, I would actually just put the leash on the floor and step on it and give her just a little bit of slack.
Okay.
But I don't want anybody talking to her, addressing her, petting her, nothing.
Okay.
But see, typically what happens, because a dog is jumping and they're all excited, is that we feel, and I got to ride the fence on this one, is we feel like we have to do something immediately, and over and over and over and over again. And so if we're communicating with her, it doesn't matter if we're frustrated, angry, happy, sick of it. If our emotions are elevated, that just keys into their excitement, and it creates more excitement.
Mm-hmm.
So energetically, our job is to influence her into what we want. And that's hard for us too sometimes, because we have a tendency to soak in a lot of our dog's energy. And that jumping dog, and we get, oh my gosh, I have to do something. I have to get my leash, and I have to get the dog into a sit or get it over into a place, and blah, 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 right? All this stuff that goes 100 miles an hour. So for me, until we get into that leash work, I'm going to hook the leash to her. I'm going to put it on the ground, and I'm just going to step on it, and I'm going to ride the wave. I'm going to let her go through what she needs to go through. She has a right to show her emotions, right? I don't want to just like suppress the heck out of her and, do that kind of thing. But what I want to do is limit the space that she can move in. So she starts going, oh, she can't do it. She starts going, oh, I can't do it. And I can't go that way. And I can't go that way. And you're going to go through some peaks and valleys, Janice. Okay. The important part is, so the peaks is when we feel like we always have to do something because they're jumping or barking or doing whatever. Mm-hmm. In these moments, this is where I'm going to tell you, just like I tell everybody else, I want you to listen for the silence or the quiet body language. And we don't have to do anything about that either, by the way, because it's just going to be a blip and then she's right back up. But these are going to be a lot of like peaks and valleys. Over time, it turns into like, calm waves just flowing and stuff. And she's on the younger side, but can you at some point this week just record, even if it's just like a family member coming through the door or somebody that she just kind of jumps? And I would just like to see, just show me, give me like 30 seconds of what you might normally do and how she is on the leash and how you handle the leash, because I'd like to be able to build on this a little bit before you get into leash handling, which is like a month away for you. you know,
Okay.
and I don't want to have to, put you out for a month. But so I would just like to see something so I can give you something to like, okay, I can do this for a little bit while we're doing the play stuff at another time.
Should I film what I'm doing now, or should I film me trying to do what you just told me?
Film what you're doing now, honestly, because I'd like to see what kind of groundwork we have.
Okay.
And then to see if there's anything that I can piggyback off of that for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have a slip leash?
No, I don't even know what a
Okay.
slip leash is.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna want to get one, and I can send you a link to one.
Okay.
Because so in that situation, and these other ladies will tell you that as well. I want to influence the brain, and anytime we're connected to a dog's chest, we're not influencing the brain. So a no pull harness is just going to pull this way, and the head still gets to stay forward. So to me, I don't get to influence as much as I want to, and I don't mean influence like yanking on the dog or anything like that. I mean, like, okay, we need to chill out a little bit, You can be excited and stay on all fours, but I don't want you up on your back feet and excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'll make another round back to you here too.
Okay.
All right, Yana, you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good,
I
thanks.
don't know why my camera's never working. I don't know.
I can see if I can. There, I just pinged you. Let's see if that does a little bit. Anything?
Yeah, I said
There you are.
okay. Okay.
How are you?
Good. Just got back from walking.
Wait, is it dark in Texas right now?
Yes, unfortunately.
Wow, look at
yes.
that. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
but
only been pitch black here for, I don't know, almost 3 hours.
yeah, but it's still 80 degrees, so
Yeah, good
cannot
for
have
you.
it all. So, I just got back walking, and I'm kind of behind because of the time I was gone.
Sure.
But so I'm having the leash, the one you recommended, and I feel like I have to almost strangle him for him to do what I want him to do.
Is it because he's pulling out so far ahead of you, or is it because he's so far behind you, or sideways, or where is he?
He's ahead. He always is ahead. He's really,
Okay.
and I took him by himself, obviously. So
Okay,
I think
good.
for now, and I just cannot handle 240
Yeah.
pounds of dogs. That's too
no.
much.
You got to start small here.
Yeah. And, but it's like when I want him to sit or to stop, I mean, I just really have to pull the leash. I mean, he won't.
You feel like you have to pull back on the leash, or are you going straight up?
Yeah, just pull straight up.
Okay.
To do anything. Yeah.
And how sensitive is he to that? Is he sitting down easily for you, or does it feel like it's taking a while?
It takes a while.
Okay. And are you?
And I had to.
Go ahead.
I had the treat ready, so I try to give the treat immediately when he sits, but then he also gets up right away.
Yeah. So is this out on your walk, or like out in your driveway or yard, or
out on the driveway, and then we went half around, so there was no distraction really, no other.
Yeah. So what was it like putting on the leash? Putting it on
he's
him.
gotten. That's no issue. We've gotten over that hurdle.
Okay.
So that's not an issue anymore.
Okay. And so do you put that on like in the garage or in the house, and you have to work through a series of doors or something to get outside?
It depends. I usually put it outside the door, and then I walk up to the gate, and I try to make him all sit, and I walk through the gate first, and then.
And how does that work in that moment?
He tries to push forward.
Yeah.
It's so I have to. It's not like it's not a homogeneous.
Yeah.
Thing going on. Yeah.
So it's just you and him, right?
Yes, but the other dogs are also waiting by the gate.
So you're dealing with their energy as well.
Yeah. So you think it's best to leave them inside the house?
Yes.
And just okay. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Eventually down the road, like to be able to have you do all four, but we've got to master this with one of them before we can move on to another one.
Well, I have to correct it. I have one really great dog that's walking off the leash, and she usually comes with us. But I don't have to worry about her at all.
Okay, so where is she in the context of your walk? Is she way out in front of you or behind you, around you? Where is she?
She's usually by my right side.
Like in a very
And
good traditional heel kind of look?
yeah, or sometimes she stops if she has to go to the bathroom.
Okay, but she's not working her way out ahead of you?
No, never.
Okay. All right. So then it's you and then both Radley and her at the gate, correct?
Yeah, and the other one and the other
Right.
one.
Right. Which you're gonna put them away.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're at the gate and you open it up, strange question, I know maybe, but does the gate open in towards you or does it open out away from you?
Outward. Outward.
Okay. Okay. When you open that gate out away from you, so what was it? What's your female dog's name that goes with you?
Xena.
Xena. All right. Does Xena walk out first or does she wait patiently for you?
No, she won't walk. She just walks out when I tell her to.
So she'll wait patiently for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And what's Radley doing at this? So obviously you
tries
haven't gone
to.
out, just the two of you, right? But
Well, I can. I have, but
yeah.
it's how I cannot. The other two are an issue too, so I have to take it
Yeah.
at some point. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, all I do is walking all day long. So that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So here's the thing though, is so if you get to that gate and let's just say it's Radley and Xena and you open the gate, you get what you want out of Xena, you send her through and you start to walk through with Radley. If he starts to pull you through, he's getting rewarded for pulling because he's trying to get to something.
Mm-hmm.
And so he looks at it as the feeling of the pulling that I'm feeling. Doesn't matter if it's on a harness or a leash or a gentle leader. If he pushes through that and has that pulling sensation, once he gets to whatever he's targeting, we take the pressure off. He gets rewarded for that.
Okay.
You see, so being at the gate with the gate open and standing there for 30 seconds or a minute while both dogs have to be calm before you walk through is a humongous deal.
Mm-hmm.
So in your situation, because he's forging ahead so much on you, he's learning that he can actually do that. And that's just a part of the walk.
Okay.
So right now we have to teach him that walking with you doesn't mean you get to forge ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy for me, and I actually may even put Xena away just for practice. That guy for me, I'd go up to the gate, I'd put him into a sit, I'd open up the gate and I'd hang there for about a minute and then I would let the gate shut. And then I'd take him back about 30 feet, walk up to the gate, put him into a sit, open the gate, wait for about a minute, close the gate, do another like 30-foot circle. So I want him to start to learn that when we get to the gate, it doesn't always mean that we're going through, but it also doesn't mean that he gets to go through with excitement and forging ahead.
Okay, so I see my mistake. So I reward him. Yeah, okay, I get it.
So no, tell me, because you're right there.
My mistake is when he sits, waits, and then I just take him through the gate instead of practicing him. And that's not just the issue with the gate. I get it. It's also the issue with inside the house and opening all the doors and going out.
Yes.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Which brings me to my
And let me finish on this, and I'll get your next one. So once you can get up to the gate and he can be a more relaxed state of mind and it's open, then I'm going to walk through about 30 feet and then I'm going to come back into the gate, shut it behind me and do another circle and walk up to the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So think of this like you have a big wrinkle in your shirt and you have to go and have a very important appointment. You're not going to iron the entire shirt. You're just going to iron that little wrinkle. And right now that gate is the one big wrinkle on this walk. And so we have to iron that out. It's a transition from inside of your yard to outside.
Mhm.
And so we want him to understand the only way we go through these transitions is slowly and patiently.
Okay. I asked my second question, yeah, when you come back to me.
Okay, cool. All right. Uh, Christy, it so looked like you just like took off running.
I did because we have our kettle on. We're making pasta, and it's really like loud. It's like almost boiling, so I turned it off.
It was funny because it looked like you like dove out of the picture.
I really didn't have anything to ask, but because
Okay.
Janice was talking about jumping, that is one because we've been like really working on his barkings. I haven't really asked a lot of other things, and that's one thing he does do. Like we have practiced it, like when my husband comes home or when I come home, and he's pretty good with it. But like if people come here. Or if, like, let's say we go pick him up at daycare, he's, obviously he's excited to see us, but he's super jumpy.
Yeah.
Onto us or onto my family or whoever.
Yeah.
So we've done the leash training, and I'm just wondering, what do we do? Like, so
Okay.
what are the things we can do?
Perfect. So Janice, this is good for you too. So I don't know if you're there or you're free or not, but so think about this. Anytime a dog has pulled you on leash, I'm going to make this so it's as clear as I can get, hopefully. So stop me if it starts to confuse you. Let's say a dog is out in front of us and they're pulling on leash. What direction is the dog pulling? I want an actual physical direction. Christy, what do you think?
So they're pulling, I'm sorry, I don't really understand your question. They're pulling, like he's pulling on the leash. Which direction is he pulling?
Yeah.
I mean, just forward.
Yep. And what other direction? There's actually another direction.
Maybe up?
Down.
Down? Okay. One or two. Yeah.
Unless you have a Great Dane that's like eye level, Right. Okay. So forward and down, right? So let's do like this direction. Okay. Forward and down. What direction do we pull on the leash to equate that?
Up, right.
Up and
back.
Exactly. So now we're working in opposites here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is where it gets funky. If you take the leash when a dog is jumping on you, let's say a dog is right up here, right on my chest, right? Paws are right up on my chest. If that dog has a leash on, I'm going to take that leash and I'm going to actually put a little slight pressure up. So dog pulls forward and down. We pull up and back. You see how these work in opposites?
Yeah.
Yes. So because we're pulling so hard back, it actually makes the dog drive forward and down. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull the leash up, and guess what it's going to make him want to do?
Yeah, come down.
Go down.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we have to be sensitive on the leash. So dog is up here on you or, waist high, whatever. This is why I'm a big proponent with dogs that jump to keep a leash on them dragging around the house, or even like a little tab or something, like a leash tab that you can have, so that when they jump, you can grab that and pull pressure up. And the minute you feel, and here's the thing, when the dog feels everything, I'll kind of do it with my sweatshirt. When the dog feels their collar go up, they're going to sink down, which is creating that opposite effect. So as soon as you feel the dog sink down, you have to start going with the dog, because otherwise we're going to string our dog up and we're not doing any of that stuff. So we have to be sensitive to that if he starts to go down, we have to gently go down with the dog. And then when they get to all fours, they get slack on the leash, which is the reward for getting off me.
Yeah.
Guess what your dog's probably going to do again in that moment?
Jump up again.
Guess what you're going to do again in that moment?
Yeah. Pull up again.
Pressure up on the leash to make the dog go down.
Okay.
You see? So this is why it's important too, that when the collar is on and it's not on loose, so it just goes whoop, right up and over. And then it doesn't come up, and it gets like behind the ears. So it's got to fit snug. And so all I want to do is create enough pressure on the leash to make him go and to move down. That's what you're looking for in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does that, you're relaxing the leash.
Okay.
Okay.
And am I using the slip leash with this?
If you have that handy, then absolutely.
Okay.
And
Okay.
don't worry in that moment about it being like perfectly positioned.
Hmm.
He's going to feel a little bit. You're not going to put pressure on there to do anything wrong, or he just needs to feel it. That's all.
Okay.
Not in a negative way, not in a harmful way. The way that I look at it is that I want to use as little amount of pressure as possible to
Hmm.
create that feeling. But because the jumping is excitement, it might take more than what you're used to because you're dealing with an elevated state of mind.
Okay. And I can do that if I'm going to pick him up and I have his leash and he comes up on me. I mean, I'm trying to think. I could still do that. Right? Yeah.
You mean like a daycare or like,
Yeah. Like if I go pick him up at daycare.
yeah. So here's the thing. See, we used to work on that stuff before we'd give the dog back to our clients.
Hmm.
When I was doing daycare, it was like we'd walk out in the office and we're immediately, we know the dog is excited to see the owners. We're not addressing that. We're just addressing the physical, like, invasion of their space. You
Hmm.
know, some clients could care less. Other clients are like, hey, do your work. Take as long as you need to do.
Hmm.
If they just walk out, Christy, and they hand the leash to you, you just grab the leash. And when he jumps, you immediately go into rules and boundaries.
Okay.
That's all. Then
All
when he
right.
can have all four on the floor, he's like, oh, hey, mom. Then you can say your hellos. But if he jumps, then you readdress again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I just really super quick when I was talking about River like not barking at the TV, when he was just doing his small boops, I
Oops, yep.
didn't I didn't say anything and I didn't react or anything and I didn't know if it's okay to tell him like good boy, so he knows or would he not know? Should I just shut up or
I wouldn't say good boy to that because I don't want to nurture that.
okay.
But to me, so the boofs are a low level. I see something. I'm not convinced what it is. I'm letting everybody know around me that I see something.
Hmm.
Um, so typically dogs, when they like, if they start to hear something outside or if they see somebody off in the distance, you're going to hear the boofs. And as they get closer, they escalate, rah, 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 rah. And then when they come back down, you'll hear the boofs again. If he just stays there and
Hmm.
they die off, I'm okay with it. But if they stay here and one escalates, that's what I'm addressing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with the boof sounds. It's not.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either, but I mean he's definitely calmer. So I just didn't know when he's doing something good, when he's behaving, like if it's okay to say good boy or just leave it alone or don't say anything. That's what I was just curious
I
to.
I I will say this, Christy. For me,
Mhm.
I expect that my dog will be able to sit in the living room with us and not bark at the TV.
Right.
So I'm not going to tell him good boy. If he sees a dog and he doesn't bark but he looks at it, I'm not going to tell him good boy.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I wasn't going to as well. I think I feel the same way. Like, yeah, so how
yeah,
we should be acting. And I just didn't know if
that
that would
yeah
register anyway. Like, oh, I did something good. Like, I don't think it would really register. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah, I just wanted to ask that. That's all.
All right, cool,
Thanks.
good. You're welcome. All right, Tally, back to you.
So the weather here it's been raining off and on, and it's been really windy, like 20-25 mile an hour winds the
Okay,
last several days. I've learned two things. She does not like the rain. She does not
okay,
like to get wet, and
yeah,
she does not like the wind. But she has to go out, obviously. So, like, I've
yeah.
actually picked her up and put her outside where she can go to the bathroom, and she is not happy about it. But the second and third time I did it, she just did her business, and then we came back inside. Um,
Did you have to pick her up the second and third time?
no.
Okay,
But
good.
it took a while. Like it took me longer. I was like, look, we both know you need to be out here. I was like,
Yeah,
let's go. Um, but I think that maybe it, I think she realized she had to go bad enough that she just had to suffer through the rain and the
yeah,
wind.
yeah,
But I guess my bigger question is, when I can't take her out as frequently, or they're just very quick little jaunts, just to
yep,
do her business.
yep.
Should I be doing some more play or something indoors because she seemed a little bit not down, but like her energy seemed really low the last couple of days, but we haven't been out. Like we've been outside the same amount of times, but
Yeah.
only for like 5 minutes, maybe
Because of
10.
the weather, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing too. When we have bad weather, and of course you're in an apartment, right? So it's different. You do need to get out and go do your business.
Right.
But it's always better to actually go through the process of getting your dog leashed up like you're going to go for a long walk and bring them out to the weather. And it's almost like they go, yeah, okay, I'm going back in.
Yeah. That's
It's
what she
much,
tried.
yeah. And so you may see that with bad weather. Sometimes dogs just kind of go, okay, we're not really going anywhere because the weather outside. It's honestly worse for the dog if you don't do anything and you just, stay inside and they just
Okay.
don't know like what's going on and they get antsy and antsy. But so I do want them to experience seconds of it if they have to,
Hmm.
depending on how bad it is. So I think that's probably part of what you're seeing as far as she's kind of like this a little bit because of the weather. So her energy level might be slightly down. But yeah, you can always play with her inside if you want to, or um, you could create a little obstacle course inside your house, which that'll. What week are you on? Oh, you're in the dog psychology stuff, right? Like
Yeah,
week
I'm in the
8?
psychology stuff. Well,
Okay.
I feel like it's an obstacle course when she gets the zoomies, though, because she runs from one room into the other, around the coffee table, under the other coffee table, under the
Yeah.
bed, up over my bed, then she turns around, comes around, and she
Yeah.
will do those like crazy loops.
Yeah.
Um,
She turned the jets on.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So I noticed, so I tried to get her to not have zoomies, but to play a little bit where I like pretend chase her. She likes when I pretend to chase her
Uh-huh.
sometimes. Um, but I was just wondering too, because I don't like, I mean, I feel antsy when I can't work out and I
Sure.
can't get my stuff done. So I
Yeah.
just like, that's why I'm just thinking, like, should I try to engage her more? I did take her on walks in the building. I think I told you this before. She doesn't mind walking the hallways, but that doesn't help when she needs to like go out, like
Sure.
go to the
Sure.
bathroom.
Yeah.
So,
So I think in the next 2 weeks, you actually in the program it talks about obstacle courses and how you can create some around your place.
okay.
So that'll be good, especially for the weather and whatnot. But and didn't you say you have like a parking garage you can walk her into?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I I wouldn't worry too much about her just kind of being a little down the last couple of days with the weather that you're mentioning.
Okay.
Um, you may have just knowing her, you may have to supplement that energy somewhere else.
Okay.
But I mean, but she's playful too, which is a good thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
she's like while we've been talking, she's like getting a little playful with her stuffed animals,
Oh.
and then she's like giving me the judging look. She's like judging. I'm trying not to look at her right now because she's totally judging me. She's like, I know what you're talking about.
She's like, you're
So
talking to that guy again, aren't you?
yeah. Well, her ears perk up when she hears your voice. So there's something about your voice because
Oh
every time
boy.
we're on, yeah, she's always like,
Yeah.
that. Who's that?
Yeah.
So
Funny.
okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So Janice, did that make sense to you with the leash stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something that you can definitely try um as well. But I still want that video though,
Okay.
because I just want to see how intense it is.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
intense.
Okay.
All four legs come off the ground sometimes.
Oh, like we're talking bouncing.
Yeah, she cut someone's lip open at agility class last week.
Oh, so she's
They
like
bent down to
nose.
greet her and she jumped up and it
Oh,
just
oh, oh,
hit,
oh.
hit their lip.
Wow.
Hmm.
I had a client one time whose dog was literally leaping up in the air, and it was the first time in my entire life I actually looked up at a dog. It had jumped
Yeah.
so high, its head was looking. I literally looked slightly up, and I was like, "Wow, I've never actually looked up at a dog while I was standing up."
Yeah, she's not that bad yet, but she has potential to keep getting
Yeah,
stronger and get there.
yeah. So as I think this through, just make sure that when you pull up on the leash, it's not a yank. Okay, you're just trying to find enough pressure that it creates that action in her that goes, oh, I need to get down.
Yeah.
That's all. It's going to take some time and some sensitivity and some practice and some reps, but it sounds like with her, you're probably going to get a chance at a lot of repetitions.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay. So what do you have another question?
Yeah. The other thing, the leash pulling is a thing, but I think we'll get there. And I
We'll
feel
get
like
there.
that, yeah.
Yep.
But the other thing that will disqualify her from her therapy test is started as something that I thought was cute. She really likes me to scratch her chest. And if I stop, she then takes her paw and she's
Uh-huh.
very good at it and hooks it around my hand and pulls it back to her chest to inform me what she would like me to do. And obviously in a hospital that can be really problematic with like cords and or tubes and things like that, but people
Yeah.
will be petting her. That's the whole idea. So I've stopped rewarding it and I just immediately stop whenever she does that, but I'm not
Uh-huh.
entirely sure she's still doing it, how to get her to stop doing that.
So I'll be honest, you have a ways to go for her to be a therapy dog.
Yeah.
So are
Well,
you
I mean, it's
convinced that,
interesting because when she's in therapy class and wearing her vest, she does none of these things. Well, the paw we haven't seen yet, but she does not jump. She like our therapy teacher said she could pass tomorrow if she wanted to. This is all at home behavior, all like when I take her vest off and she's at home. When she's in training mode, she does not jump.
does she like putting on the vest?
Yeah. She puts her head right into it.
Okay. All right, good. Okay. Um, I'd like to see that too. Not like her putting her head into it, but just her walking around your house with it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we go into stores and she goes lots of places with me in training and like doesn't do any of these things.
Okay. So this is just at home then. You're like
This is,
what you
yeah,
said.
and so that's where I struggle with it because I want her to be able to be a puppy at home, obviously. And when we're
Yes.
we take it really seriously, so I want her to like have a place to get her
Yeah.
energy out.
See, this is the perfect example of how different tools mean different states of mind. So like the harness goes on, she knows it's the straight and narrow time. And I'm guessing that you also made it crystal clear to her what her expectation, what your expectations of her are with the harness or the vest on,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? You take the vest off, which I'm guessing you feel like now she's free, right? Like to be whatever. And then that freedom has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're petting her chest and you stop and she reaches out and hooks your arm, and you said you've stopped doing it, right? You pull your arm back so she can't. Yeah. So
Didn't
what does
do
she
that at first though. So we have some undoing to do.
say that again?
I didn't do that at first. At first, I would reward it. I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
I'd
You'd
laugh. And
reinforce
so
it.
we had some undoing to do there until I realized this is going to be a problem in therapy work.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. So you reach in, you pet, you pull your hand away. She snags it, tries to pull it in, but you pull your hand back. Then what does she do?
She does it again. Eventually, she'll give up. She'll do it 2 or 3 times, and then she'll just like lay down or just stop.
Yeah. So that's going to be your reinforcement. That's the repetition to create. So I'm playing this through in my head. So for me, there's really two ways to do this, right? So when you pull your hand away and she hooks it, I'm just going to be still. Now I'm picturing you sitting down when you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
Typically, probably. Okay, good. So when you pull your hand back, she's going to sit there. She's going to process it. She may try to reach out and hook. But when she reaches out and tries to hook, do you say anything or do anything that you disagree with that behavior?
I'm trying to think. I typically say nope, or I go as you are usually the two things I do when she does
Perfect.
something.
Okay. And then what does she do with that? Does she adhere to that or she's like, yeah, okay, mom, whatever. And then she paws you again.
I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to pay attention. I mean,
Yeah.
I think sometimes she does stop and she doesn't do it for too long, but she definitely repeats it usually.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think now that we're talking this through, so I think what I want you to practice is that you invite her in, you're able to pet her chest. And then when you decide that you're done, Janice, you're done. So you're going to pull your hand away and then it's no more.
Okay. for
Okay.
like just
Like minutes, right? Or like she can go on and do something else. You can get up and go do whatever, that kind of thing.
okay.
And then 2 hours later when you sit back down, but does she just come over and just kind of pushes herself up against you to get petted?
Uh, it depends. Sometimes I'll initiate it. Like she'll be sitting next to me and I'll just start
Okay.
petting her.
Okay. All right. Which
She
is,
usually
I'd
lifts up
rather,
one arm to tell me, no, I want you to pet me right here. And I'll be like, okay. And then if I stop petting her there, it's usually only on her chest that she does this.
yeah. Yeah. So I just want it to be more on your terms. Let's just, like make it that way. So it's just easier. And this is really what it boils down to. You have a very happy dog, right? Exuberant, probably always in a good mood.
Mhm.
Yeah. But so she just needs more rules and boundaries. And we're just going to slowly define those, not in a Napoleon type of way, but just like, hey, this is actually what we expect. So it's not as much as what you normally do. Just bring it down a few notches and then we can have all the fun that we want. But you're just going above the ceiling of what we prefer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest weakness because when we're in training mode, I take it really seriously and it's really clear. And at home, I'm not as clear. Like she will bound all over the couch. Like she has lots of energy and has a lot more freedom at home. And I'm not great at creating those boundaries in our at home space, but in our
Yep.
training space, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. See, so in the training, you've made it crystal clear. So she understands that at home, it's not crystal clear. So to her, she just keeps
For either
doing
of us.
more. Yeah. Yeah. So she just keeps doing more and more and more. So
Yeah.
Guess what has to change first, Janice?
I need to figure out what the boundaries are.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I've been putting it off because I feel like then I have to train all the time. Because we train
Yeah.
outside and then we have to train inside. And I think I've been avoiding it because I'm like, oh, now it's like I can never stop training.
Yeah. So let's take this on the slower side for you. So you and whoever lives with you, I think it's just important to have a quick little like 2-minute conversation so that you come up with an agreement of what she's allowed to do in the house and what she isn't, like furniture and running and jumping on it, that kind of thing, because it's going to be easier if you all have agreement in what's to be done and how to handle it.
Okay.
Because if you're different than somebody else who's different from somebody else, well, that's just chaos and best of luck to you. It doesn't matter what trainer you hire, you know?
Yes.
So have that quick 2 or 3 minute conversation that says furniture, yes or no. And if it's yes, then it's invite only. Right? It's not up just her going, yeah, I can do this whenever I want. That kind of thing. And it's also you have to be able to get her down when you say so.
Yeah.
Obviously we're talking about jumping. That's an issue. We're also talking about when she hooks your arm. So that's not going to be just you, could be everybody else in the house. This is what we're doing with this. You will make some serious progress after a 3-minute conversation. You'll go much faster than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Yeah. Agreement is very powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah. And I just haven't even done it myself, let alone talk to my husband about it. So we're definitely not always on the same page, but partially it's depending on the day, I'll let her do some things. And some days I'll be like, okay, well, that's too much activity on the couch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay.
The world is your jungle gym.
Yeah. That's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a quick convo, come up with a game plan, and then you start reinforcing.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Deanna, anything else from you?
Yes. Oh,
There you are.
yeah. My quick question is, you saw my video, right?
Yes.
The
The
one I
door.
sent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of figured that my Foxy is the dog that barks is kind of the issue
Right.
a little bit. But what do I do? The same thing happens outside when they all outside and I'm inside. So when she's barking at the door and he's trying to open up the door, what do I do on the inside when I'm on the inside?
When all of them are on the outside?
Yes, and they trying to do it to come in. The
Are,
same
are they
thing, like,
are they scratching at the door?
yeah, he's basically the video I sent you was from the inside, but they do
Yeah.
the same thing on the outside to come back in. But what do I do when I'm inside and they're outside to correct that behavior? Because right now I just wait and then I let them in, but that really gets them what they want, right?
Yeah. So typically in those situations, I try to wait for like a lull of 2 or 3 seconds to start with before I
Mm-hmm.
open the door. So you can go over and stand next to the door and they can probably see you through the window. I'm not worried about that part of it. Right? Because they can see you or
Yeah,
no?
yeah. It's a glass door.
Glass. Yeah.
Mm.
So I wait for a lull from whoever's the loudest one. So 2 to 5 seconds. When I get that, then I open up the door.
Okay.
Because over time I want that 2 to 5 seconds to turn into 15 seconds, turns into 30 seconds, turns into the dogs walk over to the door and they hang out next to the door and wait to come
Mm-hmm.
in. But we have to start in the small increments first,
Okay.
you know? Because when you open the door, do they rush in?
Yes.
And same thing as your gate question. When you open the door, do you open that in towards you into the house or is it out towards them?
The door is inward.
Inward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and when you open the door, do all four, it's four of them, right? 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All four of them try to rush in?
Yeah, the new big one is he's not too pushy. He actually waits patiently. He also doesn't rush out. He
Okay.
It's mainly the blonde and Foxy, the blonde one, and then Radley. They the pushy one.
Yeah. So when the door opens in, so sometimes I will actually use the doorway as a tool. So if the dogs are on the outside, let's say these are the dogs out here,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the doorway, I will sometimes open the door just a little bit and shut it. Because the dogs have a pattern, they know that as soon as the door opens, they start to move. You know, they hear the doorknob, they hear the turn, whatever that it is, and they start to move. So if I open it and shut it immediately, sometimes they'll take that step forward and then they take a step back when you shut it because they're like, whoa, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I do this enough, every time I open the door, they're going to realize that it's going to shut and they're not going to move closer to it.
Okay.
Okay. So I've done this with people with dogs that burst out of a crate at 100 miles
Mm-hmm.
an hour. So I use the crate door as the tool. So what I want to do here is get to the point where I can have the door open 2 inches. And so this is what I look for. This is your key to all this, Yana. Anytime a dog makes a movement towards the door, it makes the door shut.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to create. If they move back away from the door, that's what makes the door open,
Mm-hmm.
which is what typically that they're giving space and respect. That's what's going to open the door. So because you're dealing with all sorts of excitement, I don't use words in these types of scenario. I don't use sound noises because,
Mm-hmm.
they're already escalated. So door opens a little bit and then it shuts immediately. So I'm not trying
Mm-hmm.
to, crunch any paws or bang any heads against the door or anything. I'm not trying to do anything like that. But I want to keep doing this over and over again. So any forward movement by them that makes the door shut.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them may get frustrated because they're like, hey, this isn't our normal routine. You know?
I did try that. I made him sit.
Okay.
But it's almost like they trembling over my smallest dog, which is Zena,
Yeah.
trying to get out the door. I mean, yeah.
It's chaotic.
Yeah, it's 4 dogs. That's a lot of dogs.
So who's your easiest one to do? Like to go through that door?
It's probably the new one, Buford, the big one,
Okay.
the big guy.
So So he can just
And-
walk through, no big thing.
Yeah, and he
Okay.
will see if it's worth it to run down into the yard, if it's even worth his time to do it. He's very chill.
Okay, so he's best. Who's second best?
Xena.
Okay. So could you put the other two away and just work on Xena and Buford walking through the door to make it peaceful, walking in and out?
I don't think they're really my issue. They just feed off the other two.
Right. But so this is what I'm saying though, is that if you're trying to build a snowball effect, we have to start with the two calm ones.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So because what happens is if they can do this in and out of the door peacefully, then you go get the next calmest, which is really now you're starting to get into more excitement than you are calmest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you put that dog on a leash. So you have two dogs that are calm and you that are calm. So now you have three beings that are calm and you're bringing in a fourth dog that could be somewhat excited. So you're using your influence and the other dogs that are good at it as an influence to the excited dog. This is how we do this back and forth peacefully.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is how people can work with big groups of dogs. They can have 20 or 30 dogs, all well behaved. They bring in another one that's like the wild card.
Mm-hmm.
But because that group is so big and they've already created a vibe, the wild card dog just kind of goes, oh, okay, this is what we do. Because there's such a strong influence on that between the humans and all the dogs. So to me, that's what we're trying to build with you is whatever you want to work on, Yana, you're trying, you build your core of calmness, I should say, whoever that may be in those situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build that out. That's the goal when you have, a multi-dog household, but you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. I mean, it was easy when we got Fox. It wasn't an issue because I had my older dog I lost almost a year ago, and I did two good dogs that were calm and easy go, and that's why I thought, well, I can have another one. Well, by accident, not by choice, because how that is. Because I just have rescues.
Yeah.
But then. But then you don't realize you bring all the other ones in that are also younger and not. It's just really it's getting kind of difficult. It got kind of difficult. Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way to fix it, Yana, is to go slow.
Yeah.
Because they're going fast already.
Yeah. And the young dogs. So
yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's helpful. It's something to work on. I will let you know next Sunday.
All right. Just take your time with it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Christy, do you have anything else?
No,
You're good. Okay. Tally?
No, I'm good. I just have homework.
Okay. All right. Janice, back to you. Anything? You're good? All right. We'll call it a wrap. This is our first Sunday call, so I thought it went pretty well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So call will be Tuesday at 1 for anybody that wants to join that one. And I should be, in the next couple of weeks, I should be getting my basketball schedule and stuff too, as far as practices and games and all that. So I was thinking, I just want to give a quick poll here to you guys. Because Sunday and Tuesday is so close together, I was thinking of like keeping this Sunday night one and then like a Wednesday call instead of Tuesday to kind of split it up a little bit. So it would be like Wednesday at 1 instead of Tuesday at 1 is kind of my thought. Because I mean, 2 days apart in a 7-day week I feel like there's a big jump from Tuesday to the following Sunday, but I don't know. So you guys are cool with it? That doesn't
fine with me.
Yeah.
I just have to look at my schedule because what I did was I blocked out my schedule at that time like I'm in a meeting. I don't know that it'll make much difference for me Wednesday or Tuesday.
Okay.
But I'll look and I can let you know either way. Either way, it's fine. It should be fine.
I just want to space it out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's all. That was my
Makes
goal
sense.
with it. Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't make a difference to me. It's fine with me. Either way, it's fine with me.
Okay. All right, cool. Good. All right. Well, you have you have some homework to do, right? So just bring your feedback next week or Tuesday. Let me know how it's going. All right.
Thank you, Ian.
Okay. You're welcome. Have a good night, you guys.
Bye. You too.
Bye.
Well, listen, baby. You can keep your pedigree family. This rescue dog is through with you.